Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are essentially doing a Shopify store walkthrough. Now I'm going to be doing this from the mindset of a handmade business owner. That's what I specialise in. However, this type of thing can be used for any sort of shop really. So yeah, grab your hot beverage of choice because this is going to be a long one. So what I'm going to do first of all is to try and access the pricing for you. I should have done this before I went live, shouldn't I? Pricing, it was right in front of me the whole time. Okay, so the basic site, which is actually personally what I use, is $29 a month. The next one up is $79 a month, and the massive all singing all dancing one is $299 a month. So I personally stick with these. The only difference really is that you don't get to use gift cards or professional reports. You get cheaper rates here. Register, shifts, and unlimited Shopify POS staff pins. So this is really, I would imagine, would benefit you if you had a brick and mortar store or a higher volume store. This, however, I would think is perfect for most handmade or craft-based businesses out there. So if you click on my link that is in the description box, you get taken to this page where you get 14 days free trial. Now, this is essentially where you can build your store from the back end up. However, I really don't think it's going to take you 2 weeks to build a Shopify store, especially the way that I'm going to show you. So yeah, you can pretty well build it all out, and the only difference is with the free trial is that you can't make it go live until you process a payment, i.e. you subscribe for the monthly payment doodah. So that's all fine. It's not going to take you 2 weeks, but you can certainly build it out and kind of have a look at it and kind of think, am I happy with it? Yes, no. So I'm going to click this button here, which is start free trial. I am going to be using my Handmade Bosses email, and I'm going to be using a password. So just pick one that is good for you. When it comes to your email, guys, you don't have to always use a @company name account. I do, however, I pay about £4.50 a month, and mine is through GoDaddy. I kind of wish I'd gone out and done it myself because I was naive at the time and I just went through. It is something on my to-do list to kind of edit and take that away from GoDaddy. But it's just something that I just cannot be bothered with. It's a long-winded thing. So you can, by all means, whilst you're still small, do your company name @Gmail or something like that. Yeah. You then want to pick your store name. So if I was to just type in handmade, you can see here that a store with that name already exists. So you just want to make sure that you essentially pick a name that is not taken. Another quick thing as well, if this is your first sort of time going through a website that's off of Etsy or Folksy or any sort of marketplace, please consider going to GoDaddy or somewhere like that and purchase a domain name. When you sign up for Shopify, you will be given like a Handmade Bosses handmadebosses.shopify.com or something like that. It will have the word Shopify in your domain name. You definitely want to go through and on a separate site, so I can possibly show you. And so if, let's say, Handmade Bosses is already taken because that's mine anyway. But let's say you wanted to do Lily's Cupcakes, just for an example. It's as easy as this. Go onto the GoDaddy website, you type that in, and liliescupcakes.co.uk is available. And you essentially just go through, add that to cart, and yeah, you just go through with that. You can do liliescupcake.com. If I go onto that and add that to cart, continue to cart, you can do all of this, domain protection. I would just read through that and just sort of see. I wouldn't do that, however, because obviously you're going to start your website through Shopify. So all you're essentially doing, guys, is you're buying it's a bit like a phone number. You're buying a phone number that links to your Shopify account, but obviously the phone number is the website address. So don't think you have to do any add-ons. All you're literally doing is buying the right to for people to type in www.liliescupcakes.com or .co.uk, whatever you pick, and it points to your Shopify store. It just basically makes it a more professional option than typing in liliescupcakes.shopify.com or .co.uk. So it makes you look like a sort of bigger box store, makes you look more professional. So that's that. So we're going to go click create your store. I hope this works. Oh yes, it does. It does work. I'm going to save that because I can't be bothered typing the password. So this is exactly what you're going to see. I'm hoping that you guys are either taking notes or working through it with me. So it's going to take a while. Okay, so we're ready to go. So tell us a little bit about yourself. So I'm just playing around. I sell with a different system. I'm not selling products yet. I'm selling, just not online. So I'm going to just click playing around. Help me create my logo, help me brainstorm name ideas, help me get started with a free online webinar, help me find a product to sell. So create your logo. I wouldn't use that myself because I like to go onto Photoshop, Canva, all those types of things and make one for myself. You've obviously got a name for your business if you're, selling on Etsy or any of the other marketplaces out there. Help me get started with a free online webinar. By all means, do that. It's a free thing. Any way you can educate yourself is fantastic. Just please don't overwhelm yourself, right off the bat. Help you find a product to sell. That's more if you're doing drop shipping and buying basically products from China and reselling them, which we are definitely not. What is your current revenue? So we're just going to put naught. By all means, you can do that, but I think it's quite handy to just to put that so that they can give you sort of any tips and tricks. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to skip this bit, obviously because it's got all of my personal information on there, but I will just input it and click next, so you'll just see me jump to the next screen. So guys, I am back. So when you've clicked create your store or get started, you will get to this screen. So this might look a little bit overwhelming. You might be a bit like, oh my geez, what have I got to do? But honestly, don't worry about it. Here you can select a plan. Here is just basically getting started adding your first product, which you can absolutely do. Verify your email address. Just make sure that you go to your email and just verify that, because I think there's some functionality that you can't do unless you do that. Add a shipping policy. That's something we can do later. Reading the blog posts. I must say, guys, Shopify is so amazing for their free information and blog posts, webinars, all that type of stuff. This is a very handy little, I think it's Burst, isn't it? It's Burst. It is Burst. Now that is a very, very, very amazing way to get free photographs. Now I will show you that when we edit our theme, which we will do first in a second. And Shopify Academy, if you click learn more, it takes you through this little bit here. But for the purposes of this video, we're just going to hop straight in and have a little look around. So this is your orders. This is when you get all your lovely orders for your lovely customers. They will all be here. You've got draft orders and abandoned checkouts as well. That's really, really handy for seeing if anyone has gone through but not bought anything. Products, when you add your first product, that will be here. Transfers, inventories, collections and gift cards. Obviously gift cards will only be valid if you go on the higher tier. Customers, again, they'll all be here. Analytics will be there. So obviously you can see from the back end that this is the report. So when they say that you get more advanced reports if you go up a tier, I personally think this is absolutely okay, especially if you install Google Analytics as well. You can go onto the Google Analytics site and get more in-depth reports on your site anyway for free. So another little trick there. Reports is where you can download things, create custom report. It's good for if you need to pretty well report back to any higher powers, but as the majority of people watching this are probably self-employed, you only need to report to yourself, so that's all good. Live view is literally live, so you get to see where people are shopping from, pretty well, that type of thing. Marketing, again, is kind of where you can market on Facebook, Google, all those types of things. I won't be going through any of this kind of stuff today. This is just literally me just helping you set up your store. Discounts, you can do that. And apps, my favourite. So we will be covering that later on in the video, but literally anything you want your Shopify, don't know why that was so hard for me to say, your Shopify store to do, you can do it with the app. So it's a bit like your iPhone or your Samsung phone or any smartphone that you have. If you want to, for example, have a countdown timer on your phone, you just head to the App Store, search for exactly what you want, and you can download one in minutes. It's exactly the same with your Shopify store. So the best way that I can describe it is it's literally like the App Store on your phone. Sales channels, online store. So this literally, when you add sales channels, which you can do here, so you can add point of sale, which is basically if you have a brick and mortar store, you can get like a till almost kind of apparatus for that. You can sell through a Facebook store, Instagram store. The buy button is especially if you have like a separate website or blog. Messenger, these are all unavailable at this time. I don't know whether or not this is something that is coming to the UK. So it's usually a USA or something like that, but they are adding things for UK people all the time, so don't worry. But you have a good little selection there to get you started. Blog post, that's where your store's blog will be, so you can create a blog post. Definitely recommend doing that, guys. So start sort of having a think about, what could I write about? After all, you are experts in your field, you make what you make, so you know a lot about what you make. So definitely start thinking about that. Pages, that's not right, there we go. Pages is where you can pretty well just add, let's say if you want to add a privacy policy, or you want to link a page from an email or something like that, you can literally just make a page. If Shopify doesn't give you a section already, you can just kind of make any pages that you like. Navigation is where you sort out all of your menus. Domains is where you link your domain. So this is our domain at the moment, so handmadebosses.shopify.com. Preferences, so this is your homemade title. This is pretty well your SEO, Google Analytics code you can copy and paste in there, Facebook pixel, and they also have like really helpful guides that walk you through how to set that up. So yeah, that is that. Facebook pixel, password protection, so you can password protect your store, so it's not live, but if you go onto it and you input this weird looking password that they've picked, then you can do that. So first of all, guys, what are we going to do? We are going to go onto a theme, and I think this is probably a nice little way to gently, introduce yourself to your store. So you have free themes and the Shopify theme store. So I would always say to explore the free themes. I've bought themes before, and I've always gone back to the old themes. So the free themes, the old themes. Well, they are quite old, but they are always the ones that work the best for me personally. We'll just take a quick look at the theme store, just so, if you'd be interested in buying one, you can kind of see what sort of things you're up against. So you've got the free ones. So you've also got things like this, which is, they're around about $160, $180. You can also select it by what you make. So for the purposes of this example store, I'm going to go with selling t-shirts. So if I go on to browse by, let's see all industries, clothing and fashion, there we go, whop, straight on there. So they give you the best themes for clothing. So that one's quite a nice one. It's quite a sort of in your face kind of one. You can always adjust the colours and things. Let's just go on that just for argument's sake. So here they've got like 3 styles that they've already made for you, just so you can see what it's like. I'm going to be doing a store, I think, just for an example. Again, I'm not actually making this store, but I'm going to be selling t-shirts for people with dogs. So let's just throw that out there. Obviously, you guys follow along with the type of shop that you have. So they give you all sorts of theme features down here, and some stores that are using those already, and I believe you can sort of have a little, there we go. So you can click onto it and have a good little play with them as if it's an online store, if that makes sense. So that's quite a good theme actually. So yeah, that's the paid themes. However, I'm going to explore the free ones because a lot of you out there probably are thinking, I just want to get started. I don't want to be spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds or dollars doing this. So that one's got some clothing on it. Simple. I like the menu that goes down here. Excuse me, guys. So we've got beauty, things like that. Light. I like the light version. It's got sidebar menu, product image zoom, related products, image animations. So that's the simple theme. If I just go back on the theme store, I wonder if they'll let me have a little play. Simple, there we go. So if we click on that, you get like a more in-depth breakdown. There we go. So that's the beauty, that's the simple. You've got sidebar menu, product image zoom, which is fantastic, especially if you guys have really good product pictures. Related products, that's handy. That's how you upsell and cross-sell. Image animations, that's amazing. Then you have reviews and things like that as well. I think this is quite new actually. I don't think I've ever seen reviews on here before. And lots of other themes and things as well. You could spend all day doing this in reality, but we just want to literally just whack one up there just to start getting to grips with Shopify. So you add that to theme library. Depending on your Wi-Fi, it could take a little while. Ours is not really working. Oh yeah, typical. Ours is not really working very well at the moment. I'd hope it does. There we go. Ours is really, really slow, and it was literally when I thought, okay, I'm going to sit down and make this video, it decided to go uber slow. So apologies if this takes some time. However, it will start popping it into your theme library, which what happens is, let's just put a couple of themes on there just so you can see. So I've put another theme on there, and it creates like a theme menu of all the ones that you've picked before. And you can really easily switch backwards and forwards between them. So you can almost sort of compare and see what theme you think goes best with your products and things like that. But for now, we're going to go for the simple one. I'm going to click customize. Hopefully, there we go. So I know I've got Handmade Bosses here and we're making t-shirts themed for dog mums, but just work with me here. I know it's weird, but you know, there we go. So here you have this sort of preview of your theme or your store. So you might be thinking, okay, what is all this? Basically, it's just sample products so you can see visually how it goes. And I love this. Compared to things like WordPress is really difficult to kind of visually see what your store is like. Whereas Shopify makes it so easy just to be able to see straight off the bat what it will look like. So first of all, header. So definitely input your logo. So you select the image, it will bring up your computer files and you just basically select what logo you would like. You can then adjust the size here. So if it doesn't quite come up how you want it, try playing with the size here. Announcement bar, so that puts a little bar up the top there. So let's say you want to do free shipping over $50 or £45. That will come up here and that will be at the top of your store, hopefully wherever you go. No, just on the home page. Okay, so just on the home page, but that's just something that, you know, is quite nice to have, especially if you have a special offer like this here. You can also paste a link. Now, whenever they, you know, say you can link something here, you just pop your mouse in there. It will come up with this whole menu here. You can link a product, a page, a blog post, policies, collections, anything like that. So, for example, if you wanted to make a page, so if you remember when I referenced the pages menu back on the store homepage, I don't think I can go back to it. Anyway, I think you guys know the bit that I meant where I said that you can make pages for if Shopify doesn't provide the page already for you. So if you wanted, what you could do is make a page with the offer policies and things like that. So if they clicked that, you could link the page. So obviously there's no results now because we haven't made that page yet, but you could literally just put a whole thing in the page, just say, okay, so it's free shipping over $50, one use per customer, yada, 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 and just basically go through the, what's it they call it, the policies or I can't think of the word right now, which is infuriating. Just like the policies of the deal or the terms and conditions of that particular announcement or deal. So that's really, really handy. The other thing with this as well, just trying to think outside the box, is that you can link your blog post. Let's say you have a blog post on how to find out what size you will be at home. So you can link a blog post that you've written. Perhaps you've kind of made a blog post how you get people to measure their bust, their waist, their hips, and that enables them to pick the right t-shirt size. Sorry guys, had to pause there just for a second. So hang on, let me just move my mic up a little tad. There we go. Right, so thinking outside the box, you could put maybe new Beagle merchandise in now and link a particular product or a particular collection. Let's say that you have a collection of Beagle themed merch, or t-shirts rather, you can link that up there. And also if you want to link a policy in there as well, you can do that. So just sort of think outside the box. This is prime real estate in your store, so just think about what you could use that for. Tagline, where will that appear? Oh, here we go. So you have your logo here. And if you want a tagline, so let's say that was your tagline, so I don't know, let's just say that your shop was called Lily's Fur Pals, let's just pick that at random, and your tagline was dog merch for dog mad mamas, that's where you put that. You can also, you don't have to put your tagline, your business tagline in there, you can always put other things as well, like for example, there we go, just a little something in there. Show how much you love your pup with our themed teas or something like that. So just have a little think there. If you go onto the sidebar, this is your navigation. So if you go into the navigation menu itself, which is on the main Shopify home, guys, if you can hear hammering, I apologise. We are having some work done and I'm in a room with all the doors and windows shut, but I think you can probably still hear that. So I will be pausing a few times in case it gets a bit loud. So if you go back to the navigation menu, I think if you click that, it will take you to the navigation menu. Oh, mighty handy. See, Shopify, so handy. So it will take you to the navigation page, which is basically where you add your menus. So I can go over that later on, but basically you have your footer menu, which is essentially the menu at the very bottom of your store, and your main menu, which is the home, maybe you've got t-shirts, shoes, whatever. So I won't go into that yet. I'm just going to go through the themes so far. So that's the sidebar, which is this bit here. Okay, so this will reflect what's in your main menu here. So I hope that makes sense. Let's go back. So you've got these, let's go on back onto the home page. Oh, sorry about that, guys, if you can hear that. I was trying to do it on a quiet day. Believe me, this is a quiet day for when you're having renovations done. Okay, so you have sections pretty well on your home page. So if you go back, you have feature collection, rich text, add section, footer, okay? So we've already adjusted the header, sidebar, and everything else like that. So basically, where you have a home page, right, I've just gone out there and asked them just to keep it down a little tad, so hopefully that won't be too loud. Okay, enough interruptions, let's crack on. So yeah, so you've basically got these little sections. When you think of a Shopify store, especially its homepage, I like to think of it as a story. So you know when you're at school and you're always taught that stories had a beginning, middle and end. This is almost the same with your store. So you've got the beginning, which is the header. You've got the middle bit, which is the kind of sidebar menu and all this gumph here, which is your features and your sections and things like that. And you've got the end, which is the footer. So basically this is your homepage. Now it's looking a little bit, simple, which is okay because, you want to start from the ground up with it really. So you want to go onto this and have a little play and see what they've already got. But in a roundabout way, I would start adding in sections and just sort of having a little bit of a play around. So in case you missed that, I'm going to more than likely remove the sections. So the feature collection, I'm going to remove that and literally start again from nothing. So if you click add a section, you've got blog posts, collection lists, feature collection, images, featured banner, image with text, slideshow, product, featured product, promotional, store information, rich text, which is literally just a text box. So don't get confused. It's literally just a text box. Video and custom HTML. I wouldn't touch this, guys. This is for theme coders and things like that. So let's say, for example, that you have a new collection that you've just listed on your Etsy store and you think, okay, that could be a featured collection. By all means, pop that on. So it'll give you a preview. So don't go back because obviously that will then disappear. You've got to physically click add. Okay, and then you can select the collection that you want. So obviously we don't have any yet. You can create one by all means. However, we don't have any yet, but you can select how many rows you want there. And let's say, for example, that you want a featured banner. So you've done this and you're thinking, oh, okay, well, I've seen websites where they've got banners and stuff at the very, very top, but that's popped it down there. You don't have to worry. You pop it in there. Obviously, you have to select the image and things like that, but don't worry, you can go back. And all you have to do is go across to here and move it above. And that's the amazing thing about Shopify is that you just drag and drop and it's sorted, job done. If you want to kind of see what that banner would look like without this featured collection or any other sections that you've got in your store, you can hide it without going through and deleting it and then adding it again. So that's mighty handy. So at the minute we have a relatively simple store. So we've got a banner, which obviously hasn't got any images yet. You've got feature collections. You've got all these types of things here. I would also maybe, if you've got a brick and mortar store, by all means, you can add that in. Promotional newsletter, so you can add that in right at the bottom so you can get people to subscribe to your newsletter. Why not? Let's add that in. You basically want to make not a very long homepage, but a homepage that introduces people to your brand. So just start thinking about the sections and things like that would enable that to kind of be done to your target market. I would personally always sort of pop a blog post in there, especially if you kind of feel like writing one. So my website at the moment is looking a little bit like this. So it looks obviously very bland because we have nothing in there yet. So we're going to go back to, how do I go back? Sections, right, okay. Theme settings. So this is where so we've jumped across a tab, so don't worry if that disappears and you're thinking, oh my goodness, where did that go? There's always tabs. So we're going to hop across to this tab, which is the overall theme settings. So this will go across your entire site. So you've got the colors, which is a text, links and primary, buttons, sale tags, borders and lines, They tend to, if you want a very simple site, they tend to already sort of have a very kind of simple layout and simple colours already. By all means, you can go and have a play with that. So for example, if you want your text to be dark blue, like that, let's say we want it a little bit darker, that'll do. You can do that and start to almost kind of colour theme your store. And what it will do is that it will just make it a little bit more, especially if you have a proper logo here rather than just the text. Try and match your brand colours. I do have videos on my YouTube in regards to branding and things, so don't worry too much about that if you don't know, what I'm on about. Typography, which is basically your fonts. So let's say you think that looks a bit too formal and you want a little bit more of an informal font. You can go onto there, and there we go. So it gives you like a preview there. That's a little bit hard to read maybe, but you want a little bit more of a friendly font. They have quite a few, you can load more. And if you know the name of your font as well, you can type it in there. There's loads of fonts you can use. So it just makes it dead easy just to come on here and do that. I think I'm going to select that one because it's quite easy to read and it looks a little bit more friendly than Times New Roman, classic, but still. So that's the heading text. You can make the body text the same as well, or you can kind of make it a similar text or something like that. So that's sort of like a little bit smaller version of that, which I quite like, so I'm going to go for that. Also, you can do the bold, italic versions of that font. So honestly, there's so many selections and things to think about when it comes to your fonts. But don't worry, you can change all of this at a later date. You can change the sizes here too. Buttons you can make bigger if you want to. So if you go on to... Oh no, never mind, just ignore me. So you can make the button sizes and things bigger, but I would just sort of leave that as is until you've got some products and things listed. Cart, you can, they often have little menus like this and you go, ooh, then you go into it and it's just one thing. Stay on current page when item is added to cart. Why was that so hard to say? So it just means that if you add something to your cart, they will stay on the page rather than be redirected. Navigation, sorry, breadcrumb navigation, you don't really need to touch that, I wouldn't have thought. Social accounts, so if you have Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat, Google+, Tumblr, YouTube, Vimeo, or Fancy, or a blog, you can link those. So they will be somewhere, I can't remember where they will be linked. I think they'll be linked, or you have to physically link them yourself, but definitely input those there. It just saves you a ton of time because you can just click link social accounts and they'll pull these up from this menu here. So just make sure that you go ahead and do that. Favicon. Now, what a favicon is, guys, these little tiny pictures here. So this little tiny picture there, that's why it's so small. So it's 32 pixels by 32 pixels. If you make one yourself, basically when someone goes onto your site, they will have a themed little picture here. Now, you don't have to do this, it just makes it a little bit more branded. So you can also explore free images as well. You might be here for a while though, trying to kind of find one that's small enough, if that makes sense. So I would just probably go on to Canva and make one yourself. If you're not sure, Canva is here. Please excuse all of my things that I've made. But I believe maybe if you type in favicon, create a custom size, you can go on to 32 pixels by 32. Okay. So you can't create something small on Canva. Okay, well if you go on to PicMonkey or iPicky or Photoshop or anything like that, I'm sure you could probably make one. If not, I would probably be inclined to go for 40 pixels by 40 pixels and see if that works. So yeah, you can see how small this is, but you can click and drag your logo into there maybe, or make like a smaller version like what Shopify have done here. And obviously you can see the Canva has just got the C. So just make like a very short version. This isn't urgent by any means. It's just something to, edit perhaps in the next couple of weeks or month or so. So that's that. Checkout. So you can edit the checkout experience for the customer. So banner image, logo, main content area. So if you want like a big background picture, I would kind of leave this blank and white and clean for now. I would put your logo in there, and I'd probably be inclined to leave the rest, to be honest. At the very least, leave it until you're more comfortable with Shopify and things like that. So here as well, you can also get support for this particular theme and read the documentation. definitely make sure to save it, guys, because I've done this before. I spent hours going through it, forgot to save it, and that was that. So always click save. I mean, if you're in doubt at all, click save multiple times throughout the process. So here we have our thing. The neat thing with Shopify is that you can see what it looks like on a phone just by clicking that little button up there. That's the phone, that's the desktop, and that's like a full size without this little menu here. So just have a little scroll through those, especially guys, especially, it's really important to see how it looks like on a phone, because so many people now, I think it's something I read the other day, like 80% of people shop on their phones. This could differ depending on what your target market is, who your target market is, but definitely see what it looks like on a phone. Now, as you can see, everything's kind of shrunk down quite nicely. It's quite responsive. The menu pops out nicely down there as well. You can go on to catalogue and things like that. And yeah, you can see it's all lovely. The links are all down here, all these things down there. So with very minimal effort, it's a very nice, clean store. I mean, there's no reason why, I mean, obviously there's nothing to buy yet, but there's no reason why this store could not convert, obviously just after adding some more pictures in your banner and items and things like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to sort of do the bells and whistles, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a banner image here. So I'm going to whack that back up to full screen. So you want to, you can put in your own image, but if you haven't got professionally photographed pictures of your own items or things like that, you can explore the free images. So obviously we are doing t-shirts and things like that. So I would just be inclined to type in t-shirt and see what comes up. So here, these are all images that you can use for free. And it's just amazing. Like, it's just amazing to think that, you know, within, I mean, what we've been going for about half an hour, within half an hour, you have all these pictures at your disposal. I mean, I know they haven't got your particular items on the t-shirts themselves, but let's say, for example, that you wanted quite a generic one, like this, for example. Select, so that's kind of pop that in the banner image up there like that. Yeah, I mean, you can load more. You can be all day scrolling through these, but definitely sort of have a think about it. Or, you know, as we're selling dog t-shirts, if you want to do dog, you can pop him in there. He's really cute. So I think maybe, I mean, that's such a lovely picture. Or maybe something like that. Honestly, guys, you could be literally all day doing this. This isn't going to load now, is it? That's too long. That's definitely too long. Another thing you can do is go to Burst, which is a image site run by Shopify themselves. So you can actually go in and search for images there. I think they have the same images, but I'm not sure whether or not these guys have more choice. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But if you're looking for a quick kind of fix, I would just pick something. Oh, dogs. Oh, that's a nice one. Let's go for that one then, because after all, our site is all about loving puppas and, yeah, being big fans of them. You can also put a link in there. Again, like I said before, you can link any one of these things here. So we're going to save that. I am just going to click through and see if there's anything else that we can actually do at the moment. Okay. So there's nothing we can do now really, you know, when I'm talking about a really basic Shopify site, there's nothing else we can really do. So I'm going to go back onto the main menu here. And really what we need to do first is to add a product. So we're going to do that. We're going to click add a product. So you get taken to this page, which I'm excited about. Okay, so you get taken to this page. So this is basically, you know, you're going to get so used to this when you start adding products and things like that. So up here is your title, up here is your description. You've got all sorts, you can insert videos, images, all, you know, tables, change the fonts and things like that. All kind of basic word processing tools, I would have thought, really. And you can upload images and price it, obviously, compare at price. This is like a sale thing. So if you put in, let's say, £25. You can compare it at £45 and it will come up as like on sale kind of thing. Inventory, this is all stock keeping, things like that. Shipping, all that type of thing there. So let's start up here. Obviously is where you've got product type, vendor, collection, things like that. So we are going to go all through this. So we are going to add a Beagle t-shirt, green. I'm just going to mute that for you guys because that's really irritating. Right, there we go. Where was I? Here we go. Right, so let's say we're listing a Beagle t-shirt green, okay. The length of the titles, I would keep them quite short. I mean, you can maybe you could type in unisex, for example, something like that. So with the description, now this is very similar to Etsy. You want to keep it short and sweet. So I won't go through and type a whole description in here. I will just do a basic demo one. So cool t-shirt to fangirl over your Beagle pup. There we go. Like, honestly, spend a heck of a lot more time than I have. Upload image. So I have already downloaded a sample image. Obviously, this will be the image of your items themselves. So then you input the price that it is. I would definitely always say match the price that you are on your Shopify store. So if I follow my own advice, that'll be $24.99. You have to basically, when you are, it depends where you are in the world, you have to research whether or not you should charge taxes on the product or not. So this will definitely depend on whether or not, where in the world you actually are. Okay, so then we scroll down to this bit here, which is the stock keeping unit and the barcode. I mean, I probably wouldn't worry about it. The only thing you have to worry about is whether or not you will ever sell out of these. So if you have a certain amount of inventory left, you need to click Shopify tracks as products inventory. Let's say you have 5. You will only be able to sell 5 of this before it is out of stock. You can allow customers to purchase when it's out of stock. However, for the purposes of, a lot of you guys out there will be on Etsy as well, I would definitely make sure to just track the inventory that you've got already. Just physically go and check how much you have and input that there. Physical product. Now, I never actually use this. You are very welcome to, but I actually don't. I do, however, click where I am, so United Kingdom, and put in the HS code there as well. Again, you'll have to research this yourself. Go on the Royal Mail website or wherever you are in the world and check this. Fulfillment service, Shopify. Don't touch this, I wouldn't really. It's not really worth it. Add variants, so size. So variants are a little bit tricky. They aren't physically to look at. However, you have to kind of think in your head what kind of size you want. So especially with t-shirts, if I'd have just listed Beagle t-shirt, I could have green ones, blue ones, red ones, yellow ones, etc., and the sizes as well. I would recommend just making things easy for yourself and listing the colours separately, especially if you don't have too many of them. You can buy apps and things for your store that helps you with t-shirt sizing and things like that, but just for the sake of, making this quick and, getting you to set up this store in a kind of timely manner, then we're just going to do the usual small, medium and large, and you separate it with a comma. Now, if there's any price differences between these, then by all means pop that in there. Please be aware that it will only put 5 of the first variant that you put in. So if you have 5 of each of them, or let's say you have like 2 of that one, maybe 6 of that one, just make sure that you input that in there. You then have this little preview down there. So Google will basically look like this. You can edit your website SEO. Now, Shopify SEO, they do make it easy for you. However, SEO on Etsy and SEO on Shopify are 2 different kettles of fish. Now, I won't be going into SEO in this video, but you basically have to try and keyword this as much as you can. So you have the page title, meta description, URL and handle. If you are a beginner, I would just make sure to keyword your description and keep your title short, but keyword your description. It's the same as Etsy, really, just make sure to keep your keywords at the top. I may well be making a Shopify SEO based video in the future. However, again, for the purposes of this video, we're just going to keep it short and sweet. So definitely go on to, if you're wanting some SEO information now, go on to the Shopify help pages because they have tons of information there. So definitely worth a visit. Before you click save, you can click save, let's do that now. But before you navigate off the page, so there we go, you've got a nice little green box here saying, yay, it's been added, whoop, whoop. You have to pay attention to these. Now, this is something that I did not do, and I wish I did, because what I've now got to do is I've got, I think, 1,000 products in my store, which I now have to go through and manually tag again. So that's something I'm not looking forward to. So definitely input this bit here. So this is organisation of your store, especially if you have a lot of products. You, at some point, need to make menus and things to organise them. Now, product type, t-shirt. And this will add it into your portfolio kind of thing. So whenever you add something, you can just click this menu and it will go. So if I go back onto that, it didn't do it. But what you would do is click these arrows and it will come back. Vendor, Handmade Bosses, that's you guys. Obviously you put in your store. Now it's automatically added it into the homepage collection, which in a moment we will go back and we will sort that out. So don't worry, just leave that for a minute. Tags. So this isn't Etsy tags. This isn't keywords. This is how to organize your products. So especially when you're listing t-shirts and things like that, I would say to probably tag it with whatever is on the t-shirt, maybe the color, maybe the sex of person that can wear it, things like that. So beagle, because it's got a beagle on it. Obviously, I am aware, guys, that this particular picture hasn't got a beagle on it, but let's just pretend it does. Green, because it's green. What else could we do? Unisex, things like that. So just tag your product with, you have to imagine that you have a menu where you can kind of filter. Think of these tags as filters. So if someone typed in the filters bit on the Shopify search on your store, I hope that makes sense. If they typed in green unisex beagle t-shirt, this would come up. So I hope that makes sense. So right now we have a nice looking little product, and you can duplicate that product, which is mighty handy if you're adding a whole load, because it means you don't have to do all this again. You just have to change the title. So let's say we are doing a Cavalier King Charles. I'm biased because that's what we have. Let's duplicate that. No, let's not do that. I think something has gone a bit wrong here. I think it's my internet connection. Right, yeah, sorry guys, it got a bit stuck there. So we're just going to go back to where we were, which is Cavalier King Charles Spaniel t-shirt green. So you've duplicated the previous listing and you come up with all of this. So it saves all your tags and everything like that, your prices. It doesn't save the pictures in some circumstances. You have to tick a little box to say yes, you want it saved when you click this little button. So yes, essentially you can just do this if you're listing a whole host of things. Just make sure that you know, for example, this is a Cavalier King Charles t-shirt. So you add that. So just make sure that you change the things relevant to that new item. So we're going to go back to the products menu. So now what we're going to do is that we've added a few products. So as you can see, I did it twice here because it timed itself out. So don't worry too much about that. You then want to go to collections. So the collections is pretty self-explanatory, but it is essentially like a group of products. So when you add a lot of products, it's a lot easier to group them, so that if ever you need to edit them or you want to send a customer to a specific group of products or anything like that, it's just easier just to send them a group of 20 products rather than a whole homepage full of like 200. So create collection, so easy. Think about it in advance and just think, okay, so do I want it filtered by, for example, in our store, dog breed, or do I want it filtered by t-shirts and bags and shoes, etc., etc. So because just theoretically in our store we are doing a lot of dog products, but we're only doing t-shirts, I would, for example, be thinking, well, let's just hold the phone. There we go. Well, let's just do Beagle merch. And you go through the same thing like adding a product, Beagle merch description. Do you want to manually add products or do you want to automate it? I've tried both. Automation is quite awesome, especially if you just can't be bothered to manually add it. So if product tag is equal to, you can change any of these. Product title, contains, so let's say we want all the things that contains the word Beagle to go in this group of products or this collection, which is absolutely fine. So that's that. So let's pop in. Now again, this is keyword heavy, so just be sure to research this and pop a bit more of a, better description than what I have done there. You can add an image if you want to. You can change where this collection is visible. So if you have multiple sales channels, if you remember we went through and set that up before, then you can add that there. So yeah, that's essentially collections 101. They're quite handy, but they're really easy to set up. So I'm now going to go back and I'm going to make another collection because we have a Beagle t-shirt and a Cavalier, where are you going? Cavalier King Charles stuff. So I would like product title contains Cavalier. There we go. There we go, there we go, there we go. So now we have 2 collections and 2 products. So you can create the collections first if you know how you want your store to be sorted out, or you can do it after you've made the products. I do it either way, to be honest, but it's so easy to go in and I open these in new tabs because it's so easy just, to go through and do it this way. So now we want to make sure that we have sorted it's actually worked rather, the automatic sorting into the collections or groups of products, which as you can see, it has. Now it will automatically put it in the home page, so I would just probably get rid of that and just have Beagle merch. So as you can see, it says auto here, so that has worked. Shall you see if this has worked as well? Yeah, perfect. So it's auto here, so get rid of that if you don't want that, and it's automatically sorted. So that's about as much work as you really want to do when it comes to collections and things like that. So perfecto, we are in. So inventory transfers, I don't think you really need. You can change the amount of inventory that you've got here. I think it's quite a new addition actually, I haven't seen this before, but anyway, don't worry too much about that. So in essence, if you go back to your online store now and you customize it, you should be able to kind of see a little bit more of what your store would look like. So now that we've created some products and some collections and things like that, nope, that's the wrong one. That's why I was uber confused then. Just ignore what I just did. Okay, so customize, there we go. What we didn't do on this, or what I didn't do, is click publish. So just go back onto this again, click publish, and then what you do is you publish that theme onto your site, if that makes sense. That's not publishing your site live to the world, that's publishing that theme on your site. My apologies. So you go back onto customize it. So let's just get back to the theme bit where we can see what's happening. So here we go. So feature collection. So now that we've made some collections, you can actually pop one of those on there. So let's say we want the Beagle merch on there. There we go. So right away, you probably think, oh, look at that, that looks awesome. So what it's done is that because we put in the compare at price, which let me just go back onto and show you, because I got a bit confused about this when I first started out, because it doesn't actually compare at price, doesn't really kind of explain that it means on sale. So this is what this essentially means. So how do I get back onto edit? There we go. Hang on. Oh, why does it do this right when you're trying to explain something? Sorry guys, let me just refresh it. There we go. So compare at price here, so that automatically does the same with that. So it's like an on sale bit. Shopify sales are a bit tedious to put on. If you wanted to take this sale off, you then have to manually go back in. I don't know if they are making plans to make sales a little bit easier, but that's essentially what that does there. So it pops a nice little sale bubble up there, £24.99 was £45. So immediately you kind of go onto that and you think, wow, that makes it look really nice actually. You know, I've just clicked on the product here. This is your product page. You've got your size small, medium and large. Let's say we add that to cart. It's got your description and things down here as well. View cart. There we go. So this is what it will look like to a customer. So Shopify has essentially done all this for us. We've done minimal work here, and you've got a fully functional e-commerce site. All that it's missing is perhaps some better pictures and better descriptions and blog posts and things like that. So we are going to go, we're going to save that first, aren't we? Take your own advice, Steph. Jeez. We're going to go back onto the home page. Now let's just go on to the blog bit for a second. Create a blog post. So obviously if you're making dog t-shirts, let's just make up a blog post. So best ways to trim your puppy's claws. And then you just put, you just write your blog post here. Visible, you put in an image there. Excerpt, which is you take a little snippet of your blog post and pop it in there so it's visible to search engines and things like that. Add excerpt there. You put the author, you can create a new blog, or you can just put news, that's the default. You can tag it as well, so puppies, claws, all the tags that people might want, and you click save. Now guys, you might be wondering why I'm going on and on about blog posts. Well, if you go onto my channel, I have a video actually of the best way that I've got traffic directly from Pinterest. It literally gets me about half my traffic per day. And I basically create a blog post, I then publish it, and I make a pin for it. And I make blog posts around the type of items that I make, and for my target market I publish a pin on Pinterest, and that's literally how I get a lot of free traffic. So if you go to my YouTube channel, there is a playlist called Pinterest, and go and watch that guys, because it's so handy when it comes to bringing instant traffic to your site. Pages as well, we already spoke about this. You can add pages from here. So you can literally, it's really basic, you can just add whatever you fancy. Navigation. Now a lot of people again get a bit confused. So you've got your footer menu, main menu, you can add other menus and things as well, so don't worry too much about that yet. But let's say you want to get rid of that. I would always keep the home, just because people might get stuck and think, oh, I want to go back, so just leave that there. Let's say you want to make one for t-shirts, you add that. Okay. Okay. So what I would do in that case then is, hang on a minute guys, this is really just showing me up now. So what you do is that you have to link one of these. So for example, so if I change that to Beagle, and you go into collections and you type in Beagle merch, if that makes sense. So there we go. So what you have to do is you have to link it, essentially, is I think what they mean there. I didn't get a chance to read that very well. There we go. There we go. And you might be wondering, well, if I just want to put t-shirts and then put these underneath, how can I do that? If you go through and create a collection, you should be able to do that through there. Also, what you can do is you can click and drag these, which makes it like a pop-down menu. So, for example, if we wanted to do that, let's say... Right, guys, I've just worked out how to do this. I just had to pause because it was really bugging me. So if you want to do like one that just says t-shirts, so let's just get rid of that, for example, just for a second, because I know a lot of you out there would be like, well, I don't want to have all my collections listed, so that's fine. So if you go onto t-shirts, just type in collections and just do all collections. So because a lot of people are just going to use a drop-down menu, not just click on this here. It will all become clear soon. Beagle, collections, Beagle merch. There. So you've got these two things here. You grab this, you click and drag it so it's underneath. So what happens is that it pops up underneath. So I will show you what I mean in a second. So you add that. So what we've created is home t-shirts, and then this little t-shirt pops out underneath. So I'm going to save that, and I'm going to go onto my Shopify store and just going to go onto the customized theme again. This is a good little way just to preview. You can preview it just by going onto your store, but obviously as we haven't published this store yet, it's not password protected. Let's minimize that. So here we go. So this is the menu here. You've got home t-shirts, and this is a nice little drop down menu that we made from here also. So I hope that makes more sense. It can be a little bit tricky, the navigation. They have changed it a few times. It used to be worse than this. So yeah, that's essentially the basics of the main menu navigation. Now the same can be said for your footer menu. Right, okay. So the footer menu is the menu that is right down here. So when you scroll right to the bottom of any website, you always have some links and stuff down here. So you have the search, which I would generally leave. If you have, let's say, for example, an About Us section, you can link it to a page that you've written about us. Or if you want to link a policy, so put your privacy policy and things down there. If you want to link it to a blog post, so for example, or a blog, sorry, you can put latest on the blog and then link that down there, and then it's popped down there. And then if you refresh this, I think it will pop up right down the bottom. No, it won't. Oh, I have to save menu first. That is usually, do you know, guys, I always do this. I'm always scrolling down thinking, why isn't it there? Then I realise I haven't gone back and saved it. So there you go. There we go. So yeah, that is the basics of the navigation. If I've gone too fast, guys, you can always go back and rewatch it over and over again and make notes and things. But yeah, you can also learn more and things here. There's always usually little help bits and bobs there as well. Domain. So obviously, unless you've purchased a domain, I mean, you can buy a new domain. I don't know, actually. I would maybe give that a go, perhaps, and see. Let's have a look. Okay, so it literally searches for you. I would probably go through GoDaddy if it was me, and if you're in the UK, you're welcome to go through this. But I would personally just go through GoDaddy. I think it's a little bit cheaper anyway. And then here you can connect the domain that you've already bought. So let's say that you've gone on to GoDaddy and you've bought a domain, you can link it through there. It's a heck of a lot easier than it used to be. 5 years ago when I did mine, you literally had to jump through hoops. Now it's just so easy. So yeah, obviously do that. This might be a bit advanced, maybe you don't really want to do this quite yet, but something to think about. Preferences. Oh, again, we've been through that. So I mean, yeah, just scroll back through the video and we've already been through that. So we've gone through the products, the analytics, obviously we've gone through as well, marketing, discounts. Let's pretend that we're going to create a discount. So for example, if you want to give 20% off to your email subscribers. Let's say we're going to call this code sub20. This is going to be the code that they enter in at the checkout page to get their 20% off. So there's types of discount codes that are all different. So you've got percentage off, which is one we're going to do. Fixed amount, which is like a fixed pound value. So you can have 20% off or £2 off. Free shipping, or buy X, get Y. So this could be good, let's say, for example, in our t-shirt shop, if you wanted to run a deal where it's like buy a Beagle t-shirt and get a Beagle wash bag for free, or something like that. But for the purpose of this exercise, we're just going to do 20% off, entire order. You can do minimum quantities. You can do like minimum purchase of £30 or more, or 2 items or more. You can also group your customers. I personally don't use this. I think it would be a little bit time consuming. You can limit to 1 use per customer, which I think we might well do. You can set an end date if you want to, or if you just want it ongoing, I would just do that. And then save. So then now what you've got is you've got a code that people can use on your store when they want to get a discount. Now, we're just going to go through a quick rundown of the App Store. This video is already over an hour long, so I apologise. Oh yes, we're going to be going for an hour and 6 minutes. So the App Store, I blimmin' love the App Store. There's so many free apps and amazing apps. Made by Shopify is usually a good place to start. I always recommend new shop owners to just start here. So you've got Shopify Chat, Apple Business Chat, Obello, which is like drop shipping fraud filter. We're going to go for fraud filter, product reviews, Facebook chat, maybe. But as you can see, these are all free and they're all made by Shopify themselves. So let's go on to fraud filter. So this is good just to have as like an extra protection in case you have fraudulent orders. It gives you a little description of the app there. It has reviews and things as well. Reviews are fantastic. Some reviews are a little bit kind of skeptical, especially if they're like free apps and someone leaves a 1-star review because the colours aren't quite right. I promise you guys, I have seen that before where someone didn't like the colours of the app, so they gave them a 1-star review. But let's say, for example, that you want this app. You click Add App and it takes you to your page here. So just have a little read through this. Yep, add app, or install app rather. And then it takes you to here. So this means that it's all set up. Now you can add a new filter on this app. You can create your own rules basically. When I uploaded this, it was like an automatic thing. So yeah, you can go through that. You click on the apps here, it will give you like a menu of all the apps that you have. So definitely worth it. Product reviews, again, you go through the same process as before. Apps that are made by Shopify themselves are usually a-okay. They're usually okay. Product reviews, it's a good one to have, so then people can leave reviews on your products. Please wait while we check your store. Well, we haven't got any yet, but thank you for checking. Right. So you may be kind of met with this sort of page here. Not all apps are plug and play. You sometimes will have to do some work for the apps. But do not panic. Do not panic, okay? This may look really scary, but trust me, it's okay. So do exactly what they say. So copy the following code snippet to your clipboard. So we're just going to use Notepad. We're going to put a few spaces down. Paste the snippet into your snippets-product description liquid file where you want your reviews to appear. Usually this is just below the product description tag. The code may look something like this. So you click that, so we've just opened that in a new tab. So this is your product description liquid. Now don't panic, guys, honestly this is okay. But if you can't find that, all you do is you go onto themes, so where we've been before, actions, edit code, and then you go to the file that they've asked you to go to. So you've met with all these. So they're asking you to go to the snippets product description .liquid. So snippets product description liquid. So that has taken us exactly where we want to go. So if you start to sort of read through this, well, not read through it, but just sort of have a little look, you'll see product description, things like that. You'll kind of maybe get to sort of appreciate the layout on the back end of the code that this represents. So what they're asking you to do is basically product description. So below the product description tag. So you've got to find this essentially. Now product description. Now I always place it underneath the /div bits. Now it is usually a little bit difficult to find it. If you get stuck, what you can do is that you can actually copy this, and if you press Control and F on your keyboard, it will come up with this little search function and you can paste that in. So there we go. So we've taken what they're asking us, which is or you know, getting a little bit of code that they've kind of given you an example for, and tab, and we've pasted it in here. So you know that it's underneath the product description, which is where they've kind of said. So I am going to put it there. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to take the code from there and I'm going to paste it in there, probably without all the spaces. I'm going to paste it in there. Now I don't know if this is going to work for because we're not live yet and we haven't got any reviews. Or you can verify it. Oh, fantastic. Oh, you can't verify it because it's password protected. Okay. So ordinarily you could verify it if your store was published. So what this means is when they say password protected, they mean that they've put a password on your store because you haven't opted in to pay for the Shopify. So you're still on your free trial. They can't verify it. So I would just leave that for now. You can do all of that when you've selected a plan. So essentially, not all apps are like that, guys. Honestly, don't think that you have to change the coding for all of the apps because you don't. There are a heck of a lot of plug and play apps out there. But let's just go back to the Shopify app store. There are so many apps. There's categories. So for example, if you wanted some blog apps maybe, advanced page blog studios, blog feeder, blog importer, so you can import if you've got like an external blog, pro blogger. I could go on for literally days. But yeah, there are so many apps. A lot of them are paid, which you can cancel them at any time. But just be aware that if you've already added it, you may have to pay for that month. I've been caught a few times where I've cancelled it like a couple of days after I've paid for the whole month and I've had to pay for the next month. So just read it up first. But there are, I've gone through phases where I've had so many paid apps on my store and a minimal amount. And I would always say to just try, a lot of the apps, the paid ones always have free trials. Try the free trial, make a note of the date when you have to pay, like on your calendar or something like that. You can cancel it before it gets that far. I've done that so many times, but you can very, very easily change the look and feel of your store. So I think we're going to draw it to the end now. There is the settings bit here as well, which is also important. So you've got the general bit, which is here. So I've just gone on to that, guys, but I can't actually show you that because it's got lots of personal information on it. There's taxes and things there as well. In fact, we'll go on to that. So you can set up how you select your taxes and all the things like that there on that menu. There's the sales channels. You can manage the sales channels there also. So if you're selling on like eBay or Facebook or something like that, you can do that. You can add sales channels here also, and it gives you that same menu that we had when we set up the store. Payment providers, let's go on to that and give you a little rundown of that one. So you need to provide more information to start receiving payout. So you then click that and complete the account. Amazon Pay, you can do that. There's so many payment providers, but Shopify pretty much does that all for you. If you, I always go through Shopify payments through Stripe. So yeah, dead easy. Locations, you can do that there. Account, manage your account. Checkout, let's go through there. So accounts are disabled, accounts are optional, accounts required, customer contact, all that kind of thing. I would just recommend, guys, I mean, I could go through this all day long, but it was just a video just to essentially kind of give you a breakdown of, you know, what you needed to set up your store. Billing, legal, file, shipping. Shipping is something you need actually, so let's just go through that. Right, so you need to add your shipping rates basically here. So you can manage rates. So guys, I've just gone on to this bit. However, it's got all of my addresses and things on there. But basically all this is the same as on Etsy, where you can go through and change your shipping zones and how much you charge for said zone. Pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, manage your store's legal pages, that's important as well. So go through and put in your refund policy, privacy policy. You can create it from a template as well, so that's so handy. But you will have to spend, you know, an hour or so just doing those. So I think we're going to wrap it up. Obviously, as your shop is developing, so I've shown you the basics. You can develop it over the course of, you know, the 7 days, the 2 weeks. After your 14 days of your trial, you then go to select a plan, and then it will automatically do that for you. So definitely consider, you know, really trying out Shopify first, and then I do think you guys would be quite pleased with it. In reality, we have, I mean, I've spent an hour doing this video purely because I was showing you guys, but in reality, I have set up stores in about 15 minutes. So for a store that gets you set up to accept payments and orders in 15 minutes, or even an hour or less really, I think $29 a month is amazing. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, this was a very basic kind of run through. Subscribe if you haven't already. I do lots of handmade online business related videos and tips and tricks and things. I love you all so much. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.